Magnification volume 0%.
Good afternoon and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're going to try and make sure this video is a lot shorter than the last one was. I know that last one was kind of long, but that was the Viper Officer and Soldiers 3-pack, and I wanted to make sure that I covered everything that I could possibly cover, so that the anyone who watches my videos who happens to also be visually impaired and collect G.I. Joes could understand exactly what was in that package. Because as I had told you in that video, I was left assuming a lot of things, and that wasn't cool. And I wanted to, that's one of the things
Guardian,
this
not
channel
enough
does, is
completed by
for
January
those of
16th.
you who are visually impaired who watch my stuff, this channel's to make sure that you don't go assuming. I can fix your assumptions. I can fix your ignorance with knowledge here when it comes to these things, because those salesmen on the channel, on the Hasbro channel and those other channels that support the Hasbro channel, they won't tell you the entire truth about the figure. They will mix it up. They will make it sound better than it actually is. And I'm here to give you honest, non-biased reviews. Kind of non-biased, because at the end of the day, I am a smidge biased when it comes to Transformers. I do appreciate the transformation, and I do hold the transformation part to the highest regard over the actual workings of the action figure or the car or the truck or the beast, whatever the vehicle mode or beast mode happens to be, the alternate mode. It's the transformation that I really pay attention to, and good transformations make better figures, in my opinion. And that because at the end of the day, they're all puzzle boxes. And what is the use of a puzzle box? That's too simple. It's useless. That's what it is. So complicated puzzle boxes are amazing, and I love them. And having a complicated transformer is always great. And finding that perfect transformer transformation is always a strife for this channel. We will always continue looking for it, and when we find something here that or I find something here that's just an amazing transformation, I will point it out and I will showcase it, and no worries on that one. I always love me a good transformation. Yeah, the robot and the vehicle can be pretty crappy, and I'll point those things out too if it's pretty crappy. But if the transformation's wonderful, yeah, I'll point at that. Anyway, so that's just a little bit about me. This channel's all about raising awareness for the blind through alternative means and methods. And I use the word alternative because also, Transformers Alternators was a great toy line in my opinion, and I wanted to include it in the slogan for my for all of my videos. And it's alternative means and methods. Transformers. We do things differently here. Anyway, let's talk about Prime Universe Knockout. KO, if you will. He is or she is, I honestly do not know the gender of this, so I'll try to use they, them, because I'm not sure the gender of Knockout. I really didn't look into Knockout too much. Knockout's the first real Transformer I'm covering on this channel that I don't have any prior experience with. Never seen this character in any sort of video. I don't know if it's an Autobot. I don't know if it's a Decepticon. It's from Prime Universe, and the Prime Universe stuff I was too engrossed in college to pay attention to. I was go out living my life and things like that, and coming back to everything, I haven't even gotten around to watching Prime Universe, mainly because I can't find it in audio description. Hey, if one of you people out there that watch my videos and you do a lot of those stop motion things, could you do an audio description for Prime Universe? Emperor Kumquat, I know you watch my videos occasionally. That would be amazing, because I would love to enjoy Prime Universe like you enjoy Prime Universe, and being able to experience that Transformers series would be a lot of fun, and I just hate that I can't do it. Anyway, let's get into this guy, because this is my first time experiencing Prime Universe Knockout, and I do wonder if this is what he looks like. He is kind of a bigger bot than Jazz here, and I brought Jazz over here because Jazz and Knockout are from the same mold, but they're a retool of a mold. Like, they're both different retools of the same mold, and that's something that I wanted to cover in this. This is one of those rare videos I do that's kind of a mold off, if you will, where we're going to be doing a comparison of two different molds together and figuring, like, did they make it better or did they make it worse? And yeah, so let's talk about Prime Universe Knockout. So Knockout here's got all the same joints and stuff that Studio Series 86 Jazz had. I covered that in my Studio Series 86 video, and if you want to see that, go check it out. The accessories that Knockout comes with are actually kind of cool. Let's see if we can get it out of his hand. Come here. Okay, so he comes with two. He comes with a this really unique looking end piece that's kind of the top of a spear, if you will. And it does work as the top of a spear. You can click it to the top of his weapon. Let's see if I click it the right way. There's a right way and a wrong way to click it to the top of his weapon. And if you do, there it goes. You just shove it on top and make sure that the siege port is facing in the same direction as that siege port is that's going down. And then you can give Prime Universe Knockout here a nice staff. Boom. He's got a stave, except it's not very long, so it just kind of hangs out. As the staff goes, it's a little useless. If they had made it longer, if they had made this barrel just a smidge longer, like, I don't know, an inch at the most, and it would have been excellent as a really fun little staff weapon that he could hold. You know, even Black Zarek's staff at least hits the ground. You know, this one doesn't. That's a cool little combination you can get with this weapon. I'm gonna pull them apart again, and this little it's got this cool little long-range sniper rifle bit on one that becomes the staff itself, and then the end bit is this weird little I guess you would call it just a hand weapon or something. It's odd. Like, you can have him hold it, but it doesn't really work well in his hand. You know, you could put it in his hand. It's all right there, but honestly, it works best if you pull a Gundam Death Scythe and you plug this crazy thing onto his arm, so it can be an arm shield slash bladed weapon like Death Scythe had. Which honestly, that was one of the coolest parts about Death Scythe, was that arm shield bladed weapon thing. So that's really neat. You can do it that way. You can pull a Death Scythe with him. This thing, oh, shoot. Yeah, we're going to get to the flaw of this transformer very quickly. That's one of them. The sniper rifle here is really nice. It's very similar mold to other things we've seen, but it's different. It's got some... It's like an evolution of weaponry through the War for Cybertron line. It's got the nice stud at the bottom. It's also got a stud here at the top, or a siege peg at the top, so that you can do the staff form, or you can hold that stud at the siege peg at the bottom to be a rifle. That's really nice. I really appreciate that. You know, it's got versatility, and it's got a siege port on each side, so you can plug this thing in if you want. You can also plug this thing into this top bit that you would hold when it's in staff form. You have to make sure that the siege peg is sticking out, and you can plug this thing in like that. And it will just kind of, like, no, shove it in there. Shove it in there. There it goes. All right, there you go. And there you go. Now you got a weird little sci-fi weapon that's got the crazy blades at the top of it. I like this form kind of the most. It's neat, and I enjoy it. I do like the combination weapon effects, and they haven't been doing it as often as I thought they would in this Legacy series. But then again, they didn't do siege ports and combining weapons as often as they should have in the entire War for Cybertron line. Perspective End pointed that out, and in his last video, and this guy is one of the few that actually has a weapon that combines with itself to create different types of weapons. I just enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot. A transforming weapon, if you will, or a weaponizer weapon that it's just nice. You know, you get more versatility out of it, and it's enjoyable. But, you know, I've blathered on about this long enough. Let me go ahead and remove it from his hand, take off the pieces, set them down over here so we can discuss more in depth this guy. Let's talk about his molding and his sculpting. His arms don't have anything but this weird little circly bit on the shoulder that I guess symbolizes more servos and stuff in there. Maybe that's a maintenance port to get in there and actually fix the innards of the shoulder. That's a nice little addition. He's got the bumper of the car on his front end, and this bumper of the car, we compare it to the bumper of the car for Jazz, and they are completely different. This is a completely different mold. Also, the bumper on, let's put them bumper to bumper here. Yeah, the Jazz bumper is a bit smaller. The bumper on the front of Jazz is a bit short, not as wide, I should say, thinner than Knockout's bumper here. But Knockout's bumper is wider, and that's kind of neat. Let's see, siege port wise, we got 1, 2, and that's it on the arms. That's 4 on the arms together. He doesn't have any around the front. He doesn't have any sort of those horizontal or vertical rectangular siege ports or pegs around his head. He does have a siege port on his back, so that makes 5 siege ports. He does have a siege port on each of legs, so that makes it 6 and 7. He does have a siege port on the bottom of each foot, so that makes it 8 and 9. 9 siege ports for knockout here. Let's double check how many came with Jazz here. Jazz has the same tooling on his arms as Knockout. Jazz does not have an extra siege port on his arm that Knockout does. So Jazz has only 1 and 2 on his arms. Jazz also has 1 on his back, same as Knockout. Jazz does not have any around his legs, none like Knockout. And Jazz does have 2 on his feet. So at the end of the day, Jazz has 5 siege ports. Knockout's got 9. That's a big difference. That is a big difference in siege port numbers right there. I like the fact that Knockout's got more siege ports. You've been a fan of this channel long enough. You know what I think about the siege ports and siege pegs. I think that's a fun play feature, and I do hope they continue to keep it. It does ruin the look of the toy just a little bit, but it does add an extra amount of flair and uniqueness to it. I enjoy it. So let's continue talking about the differences on these guys. The back, we'll flip them both to the back. And as backs would go, Knockout's back is a bit bigger. Let's see, something's up with Knockout's legs again. Oh, that's what's wrong. All right, so Knockout stands straight. There you go. Jazz stands straight. There you go. Now on the backs, we see that Jazz's backpack roof, kind of part of the car, and it's a shorter, but his windshield goes up further than Knockout's windshield. Knockout's backpack is slimmer than Jazz's backpack, but Knockout's backpack goes further down his back, and Jazz's backpack kind of ends right above his hip area. Jazz's backpack is kind of, actually it ends right at the end of the bumper. Where the bumper in the front of Jazz is where the backpack ends in his back. Unlike him, where the backpack goes down just a bit further than that bumper would. Just a smidge further. All right, let's check out head sculpts. Flip them both around. There we go. Now I need a little head sculpts. So, Knockout's head sculpt. I don't know what Knockout actually looks like because I've never seen him at the show, but Knockout's head sculpt is nice. I do like his little helmet, that little spiky bit in the middle. It doesn't have that weird venti bit in the center of it that we would get with some guys. It's just kind of a mohawk like thing, and I think that's kind of neat. He's got a mohawk, and now the eyes are decent. It's got a nice face sculpt. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, he doesn't wear a mask. He's a maskless transformer. He's actually got some lips in there. Let's put him, straighten him out. There we go. And Jazz, how's your face? Yeah, your face sculpt is completely different, and he's even got that venti bit and the little horns on either side. It's totally Jazz's face. I remember that face from the show. Okay, let's go further down. We've got the midsection here. This thing is wider than Jazz. Like, this is a slightly upscaled version of the Jazz mold, but also retooled. And then the crotch area's got this weird little tetrahedron thing. Same with Jazz. And leg-wise, upper legs are the same exact on both figures, except yeah, it feels like the Knockout's legs are a bit wider than Jazz's thighs are a bit wider than Jazz's thighs. This is definitely just a slight upscaling. And we get down here to the legs, lower legs, and that is a different sculpt. That is a different sculpt for both of. It's slightly different. It's not completely different, but there is a difference there. That's neat. That's cool. I do think that's fun. There is a slight difference in the sculpting between these two. They are similar yet different. Come down here to the feet, and the feet for Knockout and the feet for Jazz are different, and this is where Jazz's mold thrives. Okay, the Knockout mold has been winning so far, at least in my opinion. And we get down to the feet, and that's where the problems lie. All right, so Jazz here has got these huge heels that come out, and he's got these feet that are just wide and a little stumpy. They're a little stumpy, but they're also wide. I like these feet. I like the fact that when you put him down, it looks like he's wearing boots that have heels on them. Like this guy, these feet were made for walking, and that's just what they do. And the The feet for Knockout here, though, his heel isn't as wide. It doesn't allow the transformation doesn't allow for the heel to fold out as much as it folded out for Jazz, and that makes it a very short heel. And the toes are, even though they're as long as they were for Jazz, they're not as wide. They're closer together. They're thinner, and it does make the area that this guy stands on less than the area that Jazz stands on. Jazz has got a better stance than Knockout. And honestly speaking, though, the Knockout mold, it totally wins out. It's got some really nice textures on here on the back. I do appreciate that you can fold the wings or the little the doors into the back of the car, like the roof of the car area. Unlike with the Jazz mold, where these have to they have to hang out on either side. And I seriously thought they were doors, and I may be misremembering this from the show, but I could have sworn these doors actually hung out on the sides in a not in a vertical way, but in a horizontal way, where they acted as like thin wings or something, but not up and down like they are in this. That may just be me misremembering the show. Anyway, it's my opinion at the end of this video that I think the end of the day, this mold for this retool of Jazz is quite excellent. It is a different transformer. It feels like a different transformer. Whenever I was playing with it for the first time and transforming it for the show, I had to keep going back and forth, going, "What in the world is this guy?" Because I mean, I don't look up any reviews or anything like that whenever I first get it, because I want a raw experience, and I want to be able to have some of the I want to have my own assumptions on the product, and then have my own assumptions dissuaded by what I experience. And I don't want to gain anything from any other reviewer. I watch the review videos after I'm done with my first experience with the Transformer. And for this guy, first experience, I kept going, I've transformed something like this before. This is a very similar transformation to something else, but it was so different that it wasn't until I was finishing it up and I had to twist these wheels on the legs that I went, I know this guy. And I found Jazz and went, you are the same. And I transformed Jazz, and it was very similar, yet not exactly the same. And yeah, I think I've gone on long enough today. Thank you for watching, and tune in next Prime, where we will go over the vehicle modes for both of these guys. I'm not really going to do a transformation episode. The transformation is too similar to Jazz's. There's not anything different. It is the same transformation. There's just a final last step that I will cover right now. The only difference is that you can pull this bit up and take these wings and unfold both of them. Boom, just like that, and you can fold that back in, and now there'll be wings on either side like with the Jazz, or you can fold them back in. Um, I did something. Anyway, thank you for watching, and please tune in next Prime. I will talk about the vehicle modes. Bye bye for now.